violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
15 years after investigators say he killed 3 women in Volusia County, the trial against accused serial killer Robert Hayes took a big step forward today. The jury just heard opening statements from both sides, and as News 6's Ezzy Castro reports, Hayes could face the death penalty if convicted.
Wow. So this totally reshapes the narrative of what we view as serial killers in America. Now, I've always said that the community has the most serial killers, all right? But, you know, it's crazy that we even have to have this discussion, because you would think that it's pretty much already known. But when you see these shows like Criminal Minds, CSI Miami, and Law and Order, all these shows, right? And they are dealing with serial killers. Majority of the time, these serial killers are glider gremlins. But in reality, you know, it usually turns out to be a super gremlin that's got multiple bodies and is able to just stay in the streets with no type of repercussion, just racking up bodies. I mean, hell, King Von, he could be considered a serial killer. He had 12 confirmed bodies. Okay? So we've got these super gremlins out here who are racking up bodies, and nobody really talks about it.
The jury heard opening statements from both the defense and state prosecutors, and they also heard from the first witness who took the stand today, a gun store owner, all as Robert Hayes sat in front of the judge. 39-year-old Robert Hayes is facing 3 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors say he killed 3 women, Laquetta Gunther, Green and Iwana Patton.
Woo! And those women, they look rough themselves. I don't know what type of stuff they was involved in.
Between 2005 and 2006 here in Daytona Beach. At the time, he was a student at Bethune-Cookman University. And the jury walked into the courtroom for the first time today. They were able to see a timeline of each murder.
Wow. I mean, this dude was a university student. Apparently, he was a cheerleader as well. So he was lifting women up and doing all this type of stuff. What is up with these educated lames catching bodies? I mean, we saw the... in Florida, especially, we saw the real estate agent in Florida who was catching bodies of homeless men. You know, we got so many educated lames who are turning into super gremlins on demon time.
Through a PowerPoint presentation.
And this evidence will show, it will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that back in 2005 and 2006, the defendant in this case, Robert Hayes, killed not 1, not 2, but 3 women here in Volusia County, specifically in the city of Daytona Beach.
Prosecutors say Hayes is also charged in the killing of Rachel Bay in 2016 in Palm Beach County.
Damn.
A case they say, quote, really opened the investigation, and that it was DNA that helped investigators link Hayes to some of the murders. But the defense argues that may not be enough evidence to give Hayes the death penalty.
How does it correlate with the actual charge that Mr. Hayes caused the death of Ms. Gunther, or caused the death of Ms. Green, or caused the death of Ms. Patton? There's more than just the presence of the DNA.
Prosecutors told the jury they will be hearing from more witnesses and DNA experts. We're told the trial is expected to last about 3 weeks. In Daytona Beach, Ezzy Castro, getting results, News 6.
The trial of a man accused of killing 3 women in Daytona Beach will continue today.
Robert Hayes is accused of murdering the women in 2005 and 2006. West 2's Bob Hazen is joining us live with more on what we can expect in court today. And Bob, Hayes could be facing the death penalty if convicted.
Yeah, that's right. Prosecutors are asking for the death penalty in this case, which is really based on a DNA hit that came 14 years after the murders.
And he deserves it. He deserves the death penalty. He took these young women's lives, or middle-aged women's lives, and he deserved the death penalty. All right? It's not fair that he's out here breathing air and these women are not. Simple. Simple.
Now, the accused serial killer, Robert Hayes, was a student at the time, and he allegedly picked up women in Daytona Beach and then murdered them. All three were found naked and shot in the head.
Damn.
On Friday, in opening statements, prosecutors said that Hayes had bought a gun similar to one used in the killings just a short time before, and he was identified as the killer in 2019 after another murder in Palm Beach County. Hayes was a suspect in that case, and prosecutors say DNA in that case matched evidence from the Daytona killings.
3 women, 3 months, and evidence will show they were all killed by the same person, and that person is in the courtroom today.
Well, Hayes' defense says the victims sometimes worked in prostitution, so just because Hayes' DNA was found on them does not mean that he was the actual killer.
Dang, so that's what they were into. Woo! And honestly, I don't even know why you would pick up prostitutes on the street. I mean, ain't that what Instagram is for? Wow.
Testimony is set to start back up at 9 o'clock this morning, and the trial is expected to last several weeks. Reporting live, Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And we begin this midday with breaking news we are following out of West Palm Beach. Police are releasing information about a local homicide that could have ties to a Florida serial killer case.
Yeah, that suspect is Robert Hayes, and he is set to appear in court this morning and to face first-degree murder charges. NBC
Both of them are pretty tough. I ain't gonna cap.
NBC6's Tony Pipitone has more on what police are saying about this chilling case, Tony.
Well, this morning, police in Daytona Beach say DNA from a 2016 Palm Beach County murder helped them connect 37-year-old Robert Tyrone Hayes to 3, perhaps 4.
These are your Tyrones now. These are your Tyrones. These are your Tyrones, bruh.
Murders in Volusia County going back 13 years ago. In short, they say Palm Beach has captured a serial killer. Hayes was a student at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach back in 2005 and 2006 when the first 3 women were found shot to death, shot in the back of the head, all with the same firearm. A 4th woman was killed the next year in a similar manner in Volusia County, and police suspect Hayes was behind that murder too. Now, for years, Central Florida law enforcement compared DNA from suspects, from people who were picking up prostitutes in areas that the women frequented, and yet they could find no match. But in 2016...
Dang, look at all the people that he got jammed up. Look at all the people that... Now they going knocking on the door, trying to figure out who these women done slept with. Dudes getting exposed for sleeping with a streetwalker and stuff like that. Like, come on, bruh. That ain't P. That ain't P.
Hayes is now accused of murdering a Palm Beach County person, and they put his DNA into a database that produced the matches to 2 of the 4 Volusia County murders that he is now suspected in. He has so far only been charged with the Palm Beach County murder, but police say it's only a matter of time before they present their serial murder cases and get him charged in some, if not all, of those in Volusia County as well. As for why he apparently did not kill from 2007 or so to maybe 2016, one police chief said this morning he might have been quiet for a while. I don't know what's in the mind of a killer. Reporting in the Breaking News Center.
Well, it was hot. The block was hot. He had to chill out for a little bit. Maybe he was going through some things with his family.
Tony Pipitone, NBC 6 News.
Jury finds defendant Robert Tyrone Hayes as follows. Count 1, first-degree premeditated murder of Laquetta Gunther. Section 1, guilty of first-degree murder.
Robert Hayes stood in this Volusia County courtroom listening to jurors as they read his fate.
That man didn't flinch.
He was found guilty on all 3 counts of premeditated first-degree murder of 3 women in separate cases between...
That's a big super gremlin, too. I don't know why he was cheerleading. He should have been on the offensive line.
2005 and 2006. We spoke with Hayes' defense attorney, Francis Shea, shortly after the verdict came down.
You'd never want to lose a case, obviously. And Mr. Hayes has been a pleasure to work with. He's always been a gentleman.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the lawyer's doing his job. The way that he's speaking about a serial killer is crazy. But, hey, I mean, I guess if you are being represented by a defense attorney, that's how you would want him to speak about you, in high regard.
The verdict is a verdict.
A gentleman, now a convicted serial killer for the murder of these 3 women, Laquetta Gunther, Julie Green, and Iwana Patton. Their cases had gone cold until 2016, when Hayes was linked to the murder of a 4th woman in Palm Beach County. That murder kicked off a DNA trail linking Hayes back to the 3 women in Volusia County. The state argued those women were killed with the same gun, a gun Hayes purchased with the same caliber weeks before the first victim was killed, and jurors agreed.
During the commission of the offense, did the defendant actually possess a firearm? Yes.
The defense argued Hayes admitted to being with prostitutes, which explains his DNA. The defense also said that he was with the women, but that he didn't kill them.
As far as the verdict, that's what the jury decided, and obviously there are other issues that will be used on an appeal.
Today, closing arguments wrapped up in the case against Robert Hayes. Investigators say he is a serial killer who targeted women in Daytona Beach. Now it is up to a jury to decide if he is the one who killed 3 women. News 6's Molly Reed has the latest on the case developing in Volusia County.
I have to sequester you starting tomorrow.
The fate of Robert Hayes will rest in the jury's hands in just a matter of hours. He's accused of shooting and killing Laquetta Gunther, Julie Green, and Iwana Patton back in 2005 and 2006. Today, during closing arguments, prosecutors again presented the evidence they say connects Hayes to the crimes.
They're all female victims. They all are easy targets. They're all engaging in prostitution in some level. They're all found naked at the crime scene. All face down at the crime scene.
The state says Hayes, a criminal justice student at Bethune-Cookman at the time, had sexual encounters with the women, then shot them. They argued the same caliber bullets were used in all 3 murders.
And that's how he probably felt about those women on his cheerleading squad. It's crazy how close a super gremlin can be around you and you not even know or even can fathom that he is on demon time.
And came from a gun Hayes had recently purchased. Hayes would remain free until 2016, when Palm Beach County deputies arrested him for the murder of Elizabeth Bay, whose body was found along the side of a road. Detectives say DNA found on Bay matched the Daytona killings. Today, the defense argued that evidence only proves Hayes had sex with the women.
Showing that Mr. Hayes had possession of a firearm in his hand when each of these ladies was shot. There's no evidence to that.
The defense also says the bullet evidence is purely circumstantial.
Shells can be fired from any .40 caliber handgun or pistol.
Tomorrow morning, the judge will hand the case over to the jury. Now, if convicted, Hayes could face death. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed, getting results, News 6.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.